All right. I hope we have good audio today. I'm trying something new with the Diezel Herbert and what I consider it to be a desert island amp. I think this amp is really fantastic. And instead of starting off with the like quintessential Diezel maximum shred thing, I'm going to start off on my favorite channel, which is channel 2 of the amp. Might be just a little hot on the output. Let's just check that. Yeah. Is the audio choppy, or is that just Shane? There's something wrong with the sound. Hang on a second. Does that fix the sound right there? Did that fix the sound? It happens when I play or talk. Is the sound fixed now? Fixed. Great. Cool. All right. Okay, since we had audio problems, I'm going to give you guys a secondary intro. I'm going to fix this thing too. Secondary intro. Intro number 2 coming at you. So I'm going to go with we're going to start out here with the Diezel Herbert. It's a desert island amp for me. And instead of starting with like the quintessential super shred Diezel thing, I thought I would start with my favorite channel on the amplifier, and possibly one of my favorite channels on any amplifier, which is channel 2 of the Herbert in the minus mode. The plus mode we'll get to, it's sick too. But the minus mode is just chewy and big sounding, and I really love it for pseudo fusiony, sexy kind of lead tones. I mean, isn't that just an incredible tone? So I use this amp on a couple of different tours. I used it with Scott Stapp on the Proof of Life tour through 2000 into 13 into 14, all of 2014. I used it with Rascal Flatts in 2015 and 16. And then I used it throughout various solo projects. It's been a studio amp. And I'm going to move the microphone. You can see it. Look at her. Look at that thing back there. That's such a great amp. It really is killer. Let me walk you through the signal chain that I have going on so you guys know what I'm doing. I'm coming out of this sick new 10th anniversary Ferrari red carbon fiber Andy Wood model. And I'm going into my pedal board's down here, but I'm not using any pedals right now other than the Woodshed compressor. So here it is without the compressor. And now I'm going to add the compressor. Like that right there is the tone for it really nails that. So I'm coming out of that into the Diezel Herbert, out of the Diezel Herbert into the UA aux, which I'm controlling with an iPad. And on the iPad, trusty dandy, handy dandy. I want to show you guys something though first. I have the best iPad wallpaper. It's Thanos as Biggie Smalls with the crown. I think that's pretty fantastic wallpaper. I love it. So let me get into the app. Show you the app. This is the UA aux. Aux is like my most trusted load box for recording and stuff like that. And then I'm using the delay in the aux. So this is completely dry. I'm using a, what we got? This is a greenback cabinet with a 421 and a 57 on it. Here's with no delay. Here's with no compressor or no delay or anything. Really great sounding situation. Let me tune up here. So you can see I'm because I'm using a high gain head, I'm not using my delay and reverb in front of the amplifier. I'm using it post. So here's just some reverb. That's a lot of reverb. I don't know why it's so much, but it's okay. Okay, I'm gonna leave that reverb on, and we're gonna go to the clean channel of the amp. Yeah. Now I think this is one of the finest clean channels of any high gain amplifier. It's almost like DI sounding. It's so clean. I'm gonna add the Woodshed comp because it makes everything better. Take the verb off, add the delay, kind of dial in my thing. Really beautiful, right? Add some chorus just for fun. Cool. I'm going to turn the level down of the clean channel just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just the preamp level. Yeah. And now I'm going to bring in some pedals so you can hear what the clean channel sounds like with some pedals. Let's start with leaving the Woodshed compressor on. And now we're going to bring in the Andy Timmons AT mod. Okay, now let's hear it with the Pantheon. So you can tell it really likes pedals. Like this amp sounds really great with pedals. I'm gonna adjust the Pantheon just real quick, take some of the top out of it. One more time. There we go. So it sounds nice with pedals. Let's take the Pantheon out. Again, this is just the clean channel. All right, let's jump over to the high gain section of the Diezel, which is like what you guys expect it to do, you know? You can hear that preamp humming. Yeah, so that's kind of like what you expect. That's what you expect a Diezel to do, right? right, now let's hear it completely dry. Yeah, it's killer. I mean, that is pretty rowdy. So that lick that I did, I stole from, I think it was Mateus played it. It's really kind of cool. I don't know how I came out of it. Yeah, that's it. One more time, just for fun, so you guys can have a little mini lesson here. Framing out the arpeggio. That's right. So up at the top, you see the pentatonic. Get out of it however you want, but basically you're just sliding from here. One more time. One more time slow. God, what a tone though, right? I mean, you can't really fade these Diesels for that high gain thing. Like every note is so right there and in your face, right? So good. It just makes you want to burn. It just makes you want to just rip. So with the delay instead. It's killer. All right, let me go back to my favorite channel, which is channel 2. And just for some context, let's hear the Les Paul, right? Gonna be chunkier, that's for sure, right? The old Murphy Lab rig here. I love this guitar, man. It's such a great guitar. I do think Gibson's building great stuff. I really do. The occasionally caught up in controversy, but I think the Murphy Lab stuff, Tom Murphy stuff, is just, it's killer. This is a 58, copy of a 58. Yeah. Get that. Wow. Well, that's a tone right there. Yeah. That's just, that is, woo! So it's the marriage of it, Robert. It's like the mid gain thing with the Les Paul is really tough to beat. But the high gain thing with more of the super guitar, like the super strat, super telly thing, I like that better. The high gain with the Les Paul can get a little dumpy in the low end. You guys want to hear something I've been working on, right? Let me go to the clean channel. I don't know if I can really do it. I've been working on this arrangement. It's really more for an acoustic guitar. But I'm working on this arrangement. This is a clean channel with the Woodshed compressor. A little tremolo, maybe? Some delay. Less mix on the delay here. A little less mix on that delay. It's just something I've been kind of working on. That's how I had it. Sorry, guys, I don't know it. I'm still trying to get the arrangement. Here we go. That's what it is. I don't know. That's just something I've been kind of noodling on, trying to get that "He Stopped Loving Her Today" thing with all the different chords in it. This is the part that I messed up. Yeah. Yeah, it sounds good though, doesn't it? Yeah, it'll be nice when I get it done. It's hard to get that melody line. You know, George has got so many bends and things in the melody line. And I was trying to get the ooze in there with the harmonics, you know. Yeah. I'm going back to that other channel. Actually, let's go to the high gain with the Les Paul. So this is the high gain Les Paul sound. I don't really like it as good as the Sir for high gain. It's down here that I don't like it, but I like the top. I don't like it down low as much. Yeah, it's 10 to 46 on the Les Paul. Let's hear it drive. But this guitar on channel 2 is my favorite. This is the magic right here. That's the business right there. Yeah. Kind of got a convincing Allman Brothers thing. Let's hear channel 2 with the Pantheon on it, kind of pushing it into some gain. It's almost JCM 800, yeah. Ah. It does that growl. That thing where it's like one's sinking and one's rising. Right, cool. And this is without the Pantheon. Oh, it's just nice and fat. Yeah, somebody's saying they're digging the neck pickup. It's definitely got that thing. that's I mean, that right there, I just could play on for days. Let's hit some questions and answers on the old thing. So it's like, there's a big misconception with the Diezel Herbert that I think people look at it because it's 180 watts. People look at it as this thing that's meant to be purely metal, vicious, flamethrower kind of amp. And I don't think that's the case. I really don't. I think this amp is, let's do this real quick. Boop. Yeah. I think the Diezel Herbert is a lot more flexible than people give it credit for. Actually, there's one sound we didn't hit yet, which is the plus mode. Let's go to the same channel. And this is the plus mode of channel 2, which I think sounds ripping. Oh, sounds great. Look. It's really kind of Sykesy. It's really a great angry kind of tone, you know. Let's turn the amp on standby, do a little Q&A here. Actually, we'll just put it back in minus mode. Get this preamp home. Cool. All right. Now, I didn't go through every feature on the amp because I don't think that's the point of the video. The point of the video to me is like, why is the Diezel a desert island amp? And instead of just sitting here and talking the whole time, I figured it'd be better just to play it, show how much flexibility is in the amp from guitar to guitar. And, you know, of course, we could sit here and do strats and flying V's and everything, but, you know, this is the loose idea of it all. So, question time. Mike Blue says, Dean Markley, solid state. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay, Digital Viper says, Andy, I ordered the new Synergy Sin 20 IR from Sweetwater. It's not going to be here for a bit, but I also ordered the Fry Deliverance, the SLO2, the Morgan Friedman Dirty Shirley module. So you loaded up. You got several little modules. I'm going to tell you this, Viper. The Synergy guys are good friends, and I love those dudes. They make great stuff. Sorry. I don't want anything hanging out of my nose if I can help it. They make great stuff. And they're going to send me one of those to kind of just review and do a live stream, a couple of live streams with it. And I thought it would be cool to try it out. Now I have, if you see over here, I have the Synergy rack thing. It's not as conducive to recording and having like ready, set, go, like this kind of thing. It's more of like the thing you want in a rig. So I think the Sin 20 is the one that has the IRs and stuff built into it, which will be really great to have as a desktop option that I'll just permanently leave wired into the Apollo and use those modules as a secondary option. Really, really kind of cool thing to have. So, and of course with effects loop and stuff, you know, it'll have some neat signal routing options. Okay. How does the Les Paul neck compare to your signature model guitars? This neck is a big boy. This is a 58, so it's got the beefy. It's a fatty. I like that because it makes all the shreddy, childish licks a lot harder to play. And I feel like this is a guitar to make a statement. like I'm not a kid, you know. This is a guitar that means business, and I think this kind of guitar lends itself to more, you know, big, thick, say less, mean more kind of playing. You know, not a whittly kind of guitar. And you guys got to understand, I love the dad licks, the dad guitars, the dad amplifiers. I love that. But I love the shred stuff too, and I want a whittly way. And man, I have plenty of people on my Instagram telling me how little feeling I play with, you know, tell me how it's only shred and yada yada. So I know I'm doing something right. If people chime in and they're like, "Oh, it doesn't have any feeling, it's just shred," then I know it's like, well, I'm doing something. And then same way going the other direction. It's like, "Oh man, you sound like dad licks." Like, cool. Well, I know that I'm affecting you and you hate it, so that's good. Somebody says, how fast are those runs? Do you have a metronome to test it? Can you do Eric Johnson sounds on that amp? That's a lot of questions. How fast are the runs? I don't know. Do you have a metronome to test it? It's whatever song I'm playing to. That's the metronome. Am I in time or not? And can you do an Eric Johnson sound on that amp? Truthfully, it doesn't do that thing. I don't do it doesn't really do the Eric Johnson thing. That's not what it does. You can, of course, dump the treble and fake it, but it's not really... That's not really the same thing. Troy says, I need that one. Jay says, get the 2C Plus model. Oh, that'd be fun. I'd be after the 2C Plus and the Friday. So you guys are talking about the Synergy thing. I think the Synergy thing's cool. Okay, so Corey James says, how do you like other Diesels versus Herbert? Hagen, curious. DeMartini used the VH4 for a bit and killed with it. Okay, I had a Hagen for a bit. It was cool. The Herbert's just better. And I don't know what constitutes that. The Herbert's the one. Like out of all the Diesels. That's the one. Like that's the one that like does the thing for me. Braxel says, Andy, do you have your own style? Oh, Jesus. I guess not. I guess if somebody asks that, then I don't have my own style. Steven says, no, I don't have my own style. Oh, you guys, this is so stupid. I did not say that. Read again. No, I love it. I know. Is there a time, Andy, you have your own style? I just read that backwards and it got me so tickled. Do you have your own style? I know, I'm just kidding, man. And then Stephen J says, no, he doesn't. Thanks, Stephen. You should buy one of my records. Andy, would you be interested in getting a guitar made out of carbon? I think so. That's Stephen. That's my boy, Stephen J saying, would you be interested in making a guitar out of carbon? So there's a company out of Colorado named Kloss, K-L-O-S, I think is what it's called. I totally misread, but it got me tickled, right? That's the thing, is it got me so tickled that I misread it. Kloss is a company out of Colorado that makes carbon fiber acoustic guitars and mandolins. And I'd like to try out one of their mandolins. I think the thing with mandolins is, for me, I have two options when I tour. One is I'm only playing mandolin, and I'm going to take one of my nice like Collings or Flatbush mandolins. It's going to travel in a case with me and go over the head in the plane. Okay. However, when I do a show like what I just did in Dallas last week, and it's predominantly the Charisma stuff and Junktown stuff, I'd like to do a mandolin thing in the middle of the show. But I need a mandolin that like super durable. And also if TSA effed it up, I could get another one, right? So Kloss would be a company that I'm really interested in. Those guys seem like really cool dudes too. So I don't know what the answer. I don't know if I really answered your question at all. But you were asking if I made if I was into a carbon guitar. Okay, Drowning Deja Vu says, just discovered you, such an inspiration. Cheers, Deja Vu. I appreciate that, man. Crispy high fives. It's now everybody's laughing because I got so tickled. Everybody's giving Brax a little bit of shit. It's funny. Can I say that on live stream? I'm not sure. Rick Vieira said, I own a Sir SL68 MK2. And I just recently purchased the SL30 recording the two, one in the left and one on the right for huge guitar tone. Yeah, I bet. Did you have any phase issues when you started recording them? Or did they happen to be in phase? Jeremy Lewis says, have you ever played the B100 Deluxe before? Does it stand up to the Diezel? It's a different flavor. So Ben Eller is a good friend of mine, brethren. And he has a Friedman BE100 that has the HBE mods on switches, and it's more martially. It's like if you crank the gain up on the SL, it's more martially. It's different than the Diezel. The Diezel sounds mixed, like there's a polish hi-fi 3D kind of quality to the Diezel. The Friedman is more raw and kind of pissed off. It's like they're a different kind of thing. So yeah, that's the best I could help you with, Jeremy. Okay. When are you going to put a Floyd on the Les Paul? Okay, hot take, Billy. Hot take. That's Billy Wagner asking about the Floyd on Les Paul. Neil Sean plays the Floyd on the Les Paul, and I kind of want one. Like, I kind of would love a black, like a Black Beauty style, but not gold, like all chrome on it with a Floyd. I think that would be sick. Or a white Les Paul. And I say like white. White Les Paul, Floyd, dude. I think that would be sick. Silver Burst with a Floyd would be sick. I don't know, man. I think that would be sick. Here's the thing too. I like 9.5 to 44 on Floyds. It's even, like really even. Alex Lifeson does the Floyd on the Les Paul. Steven is saying right on. I'll look them up. Thanks. I can't tell if you're sarcastic or not. So, if you're being sarcastic, congrats, you got me. If you're not being sarcastic, I do have my own style, and you should look up the albums that I've made on Spotify. I would start with Charisma and Junktown. Braxel was at the show. You guys loved it. Cheers, man. Yeah. I was so glad to see a lot of you guys bringing your ladies out, and the ladies having a good time, which is, always important. Like, to me, when I'm building a show, is not to have something that only relates to guitar players. Like, I want everybody there to have a good time. So Mike Blue says Kloss makes replacement necks too. So I'm assuming what you mean by that, Mike, is that they make like a replacement neck for your Strat or Telly. Yeah. Peter Gryffindor, great name, wants to buy Andy Wood with humbuckers, but played the single the other day and it crossed my mind. I like both of them. And the gray color is really great live. So the gray color is based off the color that Chevrolet used for the Z06 Corvette. So it was a 23 and 24 were the model years of the Z06 that you could get that gray color. The color that Chevrolet used was hypersonic gray. And I'm a big car nerd. So, and my Z06 is a 24 with the hypersonic gray. And I thought that'd be a cool color for it. I've got the Lamborghini orange over here, and the red is the Ferrari red, but I don't have the Lamborghini or the Ferrari to go with it. I wish I did, though. That'd be cool. Nigel is saying, here's a hot take, but I think Floyd Les Pauls have been around long enough to be their own classic look now. I don't know if that's a hot take. I think that just might be a good take. I mean, how Floyd Les Paul has been around, dude. Billy's saying, I've only played the VH4 and Channel 3 was money. That's really the one that people buy that amp for, right? They buy VH4 for Channel 3. Alexa is saying, if it's possible, can you tell me the C scales from intervallic perspective strictly? Thanks in advance. I'll tell you what, Alexa. I will make a video today for my Patreon members. And if you join up at $5, you'll get to see that video as well as 700 or 800 other videos. If you join up at $25, you get a weekly masterclass. So I'm doing a shameless plug right now for my Patreon. And Alexa, I'm trying to persuade you into joining my Patreon as long as anybody else. And you've got a topic here. Can you tell me how to see scales from an intervallic perspective? And I'm actually just going to take a picture of this so we can prove that it's your question right there. Your question is going to be the topic for today's video on Patreon. Boom. And that's patreon.com/AndyWoodMusic to join up over there. Give it up for Chuck being the moderator as always. Scott is saying the 335 Floyd idea. No, like selling the 335 Floyd. I mean, 335s have Bigsby's, you know. That's kind of that look. I like all that hardware. When you see a 335 and it's got the Bigsby and it's like all that freaking hardware, I just think that's a sick look. Timothy says, do you like donuts? I'm not a guy that gets up in the morning and wants to eat a bunch of sweets. Like, that doesn't really appeal to me. I'm a steak and eggs kind of person, or bacon and that kind of thing. However, there is a place in Knoxville, Tennessee called Duck Donuts. And I only go over there once every 3 or 4 months. But man, they make a good donut. God, it's good. And then, of course, I like to do donuts in cars. But I don't like to pay for tires. And unfortunately, when you do donuts and burnouts, you have to pay for tires. And tires for the kind of car that I have are absurdly expensive. Embarrassingly expensive. New guitar expensive. So I don't want to rip the tread off of those. Okay, Dustin says, Andy, what's your opinion on assembling a parts caster, and at what point is it not worth it? Also, what brands do you recommend? Dude, here it comes. A Warmoth parts caster. I've known several dudes here in town that built parts caster from Warmoth. Some of the best guitars I've ever played. I think they're great. I think it really is just a good attention to detail. I actually have a set of pickups that my guitar tech, John Cooper, is going to put in a guitar. And they are from Seymour Duncan. My friends over at Seymour Duncan sent them to me. And they're called the Hot Chicken pickups. And so I'm going to try those just to give them some review. And it'll be in a parts caster. Braxel saying, thanks for thinking of the ladies. It's a factor to help me get her out. We saw Vi Betancourt, Wild Malmsteen, and the show went on for 4 hours, and she had a hard time hanging in there. Yeah, that's the thing, man. For me, it's like I want people of any demographic to have a good time at one of my shows and be engaged. I heard that, Alexa. If you are the $5 friend, you will get access to almost 800 videos. So try it out. Try it on for size. And then you can always cancel. But I'm going to make because of you, I'm going to make the topic for you. Brad is chiming in. Fit to Praise is saying, I'm only 15 months behind in my lessons. So basically what we're going to do is he's going to do a 9-hour master class. It's not true. If you just sign in on the app, we'll get you lessons, Brad. Okay, Archer says, fun fact, I've never spent my own money on a donut. I've only eaten them when they're given to me. That's actually, I wonder if a lot of people are like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know people that are like, I'm going to go get a donut. Now, I don't mean somebody being like, I get donuts at the grocery store. I mean like you're going to a Krispy Kreme or Dunkin's. Like most people go to those places for coffee, right? Isn't that a thing? Plexico is in the house. Thank you for the $5 beer money. I appreciate that. He's saying, where's all the bros with the coin? I can't be the only one, can I? Well, I appreciate that, my friend. Fish is saying, I got some Warmoths. If somebody would make a reasonably priced single strat with large beefy necks, compound radius, I wouldn't have to use a Warmoth. You can get that with Sir, but reasonably priced gets into debate because guitars are like what they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was thinking about this the other day. You remember when you used to be able to go to Guitar Center or something and like a Mexican Squire Strat thing would be like $400. You got like a good one. Boy, those days are gone. I think my blue telly that was my first guitar, I think it was $500 in the 90s. I was in junior high, like the late 90s. Subscribe, my friend. I'm going to make your video today. Troy says you still haven't taken those. Yeah, he's saving them up, dude. He's saving them like the UPC codes from cereal boxes. You have to like cut them out, and then you turn them all in, and you could get the refrigerator Perry G.I. Joe. That's what Brad's trying to do. I don't know what he's trying to get. I don't know if he's trying to like buy the studio in UPC codes, but he's saving them. All right. Tone for days. Thank you, my friend. Best advice regarding tone from your conversations with Andy Timmons, your favorite tubes in your Marshall, and your thoughts on speakers. Yeah, there's a lot here. So I'm going to like that. And here you go. Best advice for tone from Andy Timmons is the way that he would, like when we first met, like 12 years ago, we were doing a clinic together, and he really taught me a lot about delay. This is before the Strymons. This is way before the Halo and all that stuff. He was using 2 Memory Man pedals together, and he really taught me a lot about how to get the delays to sit around the notes. That was big. That was like mega big. And then outside of that, just kind of the constant conversations that we would always have. I mean, he's just such a mentor. I don't really know any one specific thing, but more about learning that the tones that are easy to play are not really the ones that sound good in a mix. Like oftentimes tones that you can't really shred on, they tend to sound way better in a mix, you know. So the favorite tubes in a Marshall, it's so tough because you can't get tubes. Like JJ's, you know, like what else? There was another one that I liked. It was like a Eastern European company. Ruby's, you know, Ruby's make a good tube. Favorite speakers, Greenbacks, vintage 30s. Those are like the industry standard. Like there's things that I like and I don't like about both of those speakers that other speakers do better. So if you like a vintage 30, I suggest trying out the Celestion Redback. It's a sweeter sounding kind of speaker that has a big headroom. If you like a Greenback, I suggest trying out the G1265 because it's the Greenback EQ curve with way more headroom. It doesn't break up. Those are the two that I would suggest. I think they're better versions of those speakers. However, like, you know, vintage 30s are great. Greenbacks are, I mean, Surcab's got Greenbacks in it. It was a ripper. Dustin says, I'm trying not to be a brand snob for parts casters. Overseas stuff frowned upon. If I had to cut corners, should it be more on the neck or the body? I would cut corners on the body if you had to save a little dough. Are you rolling with custom buckers in the Les Paul? These are whatever come in it from Gibson. This is the 58 Murphy R8. And the serial number is $829.52. That's what this guitar is. And it's got some light aging around it. It's not beat to smithereens. It just looks played, which is cool. So you guys are talking about the warmest stuff, yeah. There's Bill Givens. Let me tell y'all right now, Bill's a monster player. He says, I'm more savory than sweet in the mornings. I only eat donuts if someone brought them. That said, cinnamon apple donuts are amazing. It's always the monster guitar players that show up and don't talk about guitar. Really give you the 411 on things that aren't guitar related. Braxel chiming in. I used to buy old Marshall heads for $300 to $400 in the 80s. In fact, he still has his 7250 watt Marshall head. Almost everything's original. Head show's perfect. Paid $375. Those days are gone. Those days are for sure gone. Gone. But we are in a golden era of guitar stuff, because I'm going to flip the script on you, Braxel. In the 80s, to do wet, dry, wet, Van Halen style, you were spending 15 to 20 grand in the 80s. Power amps, racks, 3 of everything. You can go wet, dry, wet with 3 EVH Icon 20 watt amps, 3 combos, and an EVH STE 3000 pedal for less than $2,500. So the script has been completely flipped on the effects side and the gear side, like the pedal boards and the controllers and all of that stuff. That is a completely different cost of savings that didn't exist then. Those racks, I mean, dude, to do what I'm doing with my pedal board right now in 2015, I had to have a rack because I had all that switching, and now it's just like, it's right there on your pedal board. It's easy. Just like, golly dang, it's crazy. So 15 points, and the points don't matter. Do you own any Music Man guitars? Yeah, actually, I have a red Music Man that I won when I did the Guitar Center Guitar Armageddon contest, and I won that thing. I was very, very lucky and blessed, and I won the whole thing. So I was like, 3,400 people had to be losers. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't have any expectations to even do anything. I can't believe that I won that whole thing, really. Wizard South saying Redbacks and Creamback 65 mixed in a 412. So I guess he's saying, yeah, that's it. Braxel saying he's got the EVH. So think about that, dude. The pedal that you have, the pedal that's MSRP $520 or whatever it is, it's cheap for what it does. I mean, dude, to do that same gag that thing can do, you had to have thousands of dollars and stuff, tens of thousands. Lana's in the house. Lana is saying, I love these intervallic topics. I'm interested in how you apply interval visualization over chord progressions and how you keep track of scale notes and chord tones. That video, Lana, is being made for Patreon today. As soon as I finish this, I'm going to make that and hopefully have it up by, I don't know, 7 o'clock. It's 4 o'clock now. Yeah, I'm going to make the video, edit it, eat dinner, and hopefully afterwards. Fishbowl was saying another good thing about the parts caster thing is if you're on a budget, you don't have to get everything all at once. You could just buy a neck, save up a couple months, buy a body. I think that's the approach that I have with gear and in life too. I don't really buy things with the intent of trying it out and then selling it if I don't like it. I am a big research guy. Let me give you a little backstory here. Pep's gonna tell you a little backstory. Okay, so last year I was getting to that cusp of my Cadillac SUV, and I didn't have an Escalade. I had the next one down, the SUV that's down from that. And it was getting like, 200,000 miles, getting higher. I didn't want to wait till the transmission fell out and then start car shopping. I did not want to do that. So I started shopping for like 7 or 8 months. And I bought a GMC Sierra with the big cab, the big quad cab. And I did it with the intent of running it for 250,000 miles. As that translates to guitar, all the amps you see I've had forever. I've had that Deluxe. That's a 63 Deluxe Reverb. I bought it for $2,600, $2,700 in 2002, maybe. So bought that thing 20 years ago, and it's still with me. The Diezel's been with me 20 years. Everything I get, I've had for a long time, and I get it with the intent of like, I'm going to keep it. I would rather wait longer, save, and get what I wanted and have it, and it be just something. So like you're asking about the body versus neck kind of thing. I think that's a great point that somebody made. They said, just wait, get a nice neck when you can. Wait, save up, get a nice body when you can. Now you're asking about the locations. I know there's a lot of great builders in Indonesia. I know there's some Korean builders that are good. I don't really know if there's a better and or best. I don't think as far as the location, here's the way I would look at it. You can make a great guitar anywhere, and you can make a trash guitar anywhere. You know what I'm saying? One last question here. Do you have any advice for fellow female guitar players in a predominantly male profession? I'm going to say female fellow guitar players, right? Because I am not a female. 5 o'clock shadow probably gave that away. But any advice for female guitar players in a predominantly male profession? Oh, this is getting into a very hot topic on the internet, which is, the demographic of the guitar player. I'm going to tread carefully because I think the thing that matters more than anything is not your gender. Like, if you wouldn't have told me that you were female and you sent me a solo and it sucked, it would suck. If you didn't tell me you were female and you sent me a solo and it's a ripper, then it's a ripper. So my advice is to not acknowledge gender and let an employer, and I'm going to use that word, an employer, let's say an artist. There's gigs that I've missed because of my demographic. I'm a white man. And there are gigs that I immediately wasn't even allowed to audition for because of any number of demographics that the artist wanted that I didn't fit. I could bitch about that and moan and carry on, but I don't think that's relevant. I don't think it's something that should carry weight. And I'll tell you why. Because if you're an artist, let's say Katy Perry, and I'm using Katy as an example because I didn't audition for her. I have no connection to Katy. Let's say Katy Perry absolutely wants to have 2 guitarists, and visually she wants them both to be female. She wants one to be blonde and one to be black-headed, like brunette. I think that's 1,000% up to Katy because it's her show. That's what she wants. So if I saw a bunch of men that didn't fit the bill bitching about it, I would think they're weak-minded. That's what I would think. I would think you have no self-confidence. There's something deeper wrong with you if you're complaining that you're not allowed to go for the gig because Katy Perry wants 2 guitars. Now, let's take that a step farther. If Katy has already hired her blonde guitar player and she's looking for brunette guitar players, and there's another blonde guitar player that comes along and doesn't get the gig because she's not brunette, I would think she's weak-minded because Katy obviously is. It's like casting for a movie, right? Like, We all know what Blade, the character from Marvel Comics, looks like. We've lived with that character for 50 years. I don't want to see Matthew McConaughey cast as Blade or Ryan Gosling. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, that's a character that exists. If I was Katy Perry and I wanted only dudes of a certain demographic, that's up to Katy Perry. I think the thing that I want you to think about here, Lana, practice matters. Delivery of tone matters. Competency of the tunes matter. Comfort on stage matters. Like, what if I wanted a female guitarist to be a rhythm guitar player in my band? That's ground zero. So any male guitar player is out. I want a female guitarist on stage. That's my show. I can do what I want. Like MGK hired Sophie Lloyd, right? Like that's up to him. He's like, I want a female guitar player. Boom, this is what I get. I think what matters to me over what the female looked like would be how comfortable she is on stage. Right? That matters to me. That's something you can control. You can't control things like your height. You can control things like your weight to a certain extent, but not like if you're 6'2", or let's say you're a guy. Let's say you're a guy and you're 6'4". You can only control your weight to a certain point. You have to have X amount of weight. So it's like, that's not even really that. You can't control the pigment of your skin. You can't control that. You can get a tan if you're really pale, I guess. I don't know. But like, you're moving things micro, and obsessing over things that you can't control leads to just unhealthy mental states. That leads to really unhealthy spots that your brain can live in. And then you start fabricating reasons why you didn't get a gig. And then you're spiraling. So my advice is to triple down on the things you can control. That's what I do personally. I can't control the gigs that I didn't get because I wasn't a certain demographic. And I sure didn't bitch about it. I was like, oh, cool. All right. And then you go. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're like, I didn't get it because they want something that I'm not visually, and I can't control that. Next. The end. This is one of the few times that I've ever talked about this publicly. And I actually think it would be in bad taste to tell you, the viewer that's in the stream, who it was that wanted something. I think that's just bad taste. But what I can do is practice, work on my tone, work on my statement, and by statement, my musical statement, work on my knowledge of my craft, and let it ride from there. And ironically, what has happened is I've worked on those things. Working on my musical statement has led me to where I'm at now, which is I'm a solo artist now. It used to be like where I was the mercenary and I was the side man playing with the big famous artist. It's like, man, I'm at the point now where I do my own thing, touring my own stuff. So those are the things, Lana, that I think you should. Of course, there's certain times where in life you can have an advantage simply for being female. I'm looking at Sahar saying Jennifer Batten. Yeah, if you look at Orianthi, like there's a for sure thing when Michael Jackson was alive. If you were a female guitar player, you automatically had an advantage, automatically, because he likes female guitar players when he was alive. What's her name? My brain's shut off. There's a female artist right now, and she has a whole female band. I can't remember her name. All my buddies work with her. Leanne and Brittany work for her. I'm going to have to look it up. Sorry, I got to look it up. My brain's not working. Let me go to Insta and check and see who it is. I'm going to say this, and y'all are going to be like, how did you not know who that is? Demi Lovato. Yeah, sorry. Golly dang. So Demi Lovato wants an all-female band. You have an advantage, Lana, immediately. And every other dude in the room can't be in that band. But none of that guarantees that you're going to deliver the goods. What guarantees that you're going to deliver the goods is if you can play. So that's a really long answer, and I really worded it carefully, and I tried to do my best. I hope I don't get canceled for my opinion, but that is my opinion, and that's what matters. That I think merit matters, like the merit of your work matters more than anything. But I also don't think that should supersede an employer who wants to hire a certain demographic. Like Guthrie Govan's the best guitar player on earth, like hot take, you know. But he's not getting the Demi Lovato gig because she wants an all-female band. And that's great. And that's okay. Like, both things can coexist. We live in a very controversial time right now. Everything's just like, And so it's like, I'm kind of like not trying to dodge the issue, more so than just step back and look at it and be like, both of this can be the right answer. This can both be fine. I think one's self-confidence and self-worth will allow them to not get a gig based on demographic and be completely okay with it. And that's totally fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, Ryan Gosling does not need to play Blade, going back to that example, ever, right? And he's probably like, yeah, I shouldn't play Blade. I don't look like Blade. You know what I mean? I think that's the testament to the Marvel movies. Like, when you saw Chris Evans as Steve Rogers, you're like, dude, that's Steve Rogers. Like, that looks like the freaking comic book. Or dude, RDJ as Tony Stark. Like, he looked like he just walked right out of the pages. Like, that's the thing. And art, when we're talking about this, I'm automatically putting myself into the live perspective. Now, in a studio situation, none of that matters. Nobody cares what you look like. Nobody cares. In a studio environment, nobody gives two shits what you look like, what gender you are, what color you are. Nobody cares. It is, are you good? Are you good is question 1. Are you good is question 2. It's question 3, 4, and 5. Like, why are you here? Because we need to make a record, right? So the reason I'm spending so much time talking about the live aspect is I think that's the only time that gender matters. And it really only matters if someone's looking for a specific demographic. Boom. There we go. Yeah. So I'm an old fat guy. I guess I'm screwed. Not really. There's a lot of really killer old fat dudes. Like Leslie West was kind of an old fat dude that was a ripper. It's Leslie West. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's all good. This isn't a hot take, Andy. You're being extremely respectful and insightful. I mean, I think so, right? This just seems like being in the business of entertainment and understanding that it's entertainment, and that's going to come with things in life that do not apply to people in 9-to-5s, you know. Sean Lane. Yeah. I mean, Johnny Highland's not the smallest guy either. You forgot are you good? You have to ask, are you an asshole? I mean, yeah. Are you an a-hole? Right? Like, that's a thing. Yeah. That's the only thing that matters, Lana. Like, work on your craft. For every hour that you spend practicing, spend an hour on songwriting and tone and recording and video. Like, I don't have any employees when I do what I'm doing right now. It's all one-man job. I learned how to do enough camera work and enough, you know, I've got a couple of business partners, and I know enough to be able to do what I'm doing because I spent time trying to do it. And I still get frustrated. It still makes me so mad. But like, all of this stuff is, as one of my business partners says, like, this is what you do. So like, streaming is what I do now. So, you know, if I've been on set, I'll tell you this, I've been on sets for videos for companies and them having technical difficulties that don't surround music, that surround video, and I was able to help them solve those technical because I do this. So for every hour that you work on music and the practice of music, you need to invest an hour into the other sides of the industry as well. And I say that as I'm assuming that you want to be a career player, right? Like that's all this hinges around that one caveat of career player. Because if you just want to play Sweet Child of Mine on the weekends, none of what I'm saying is matter. Just go play Sweet Child of Mine on the weekends. Nobody cares, right? It's just like, just do what you want. Learning how to sing, yeah, that's a big one. That's for sure a big one. Okay, so we had a huge topic that wasn't really on brand for the title, but as we all know, I like to set the tone of the live stream with a topic, and this week it was the Diezel Herbert and it being a desert island amp. I like to set the tone of that and then handle some Q&A. So if anyone's joining the video and they're jumping around and they see this, or you're joining in late to the live stream, that's what we do. We have the front half of the live stream, the topic, and the back half being Q&A, because I think Q&A matters, right? So with that said, Diezel Herbert's a ripper. I'm such a fan. I'm going to make a video for you Patreon members to understand the intervallic relationship of scales, okay? And get that up on Patreon later today. And then, we will dig into this week. I'm currently writing the next Kennedy Wood Band outing. Chris joined late. He says, I'm ready to hear the amp. Dude, we've already heard the amp. There's the amp again. We'll give you a little bit more here to go home with it. He says, I'm ready to hear the amp. Bro, you missed 40 minutes of me noodling around. Such a great amp. I'm going to put some delay on because I love it when I'm playing solo. Put some delay on. Yeah, so there's the amp. It's great. Yeah. Cheers, everyone. I hope that everyone has a great week. Bryce will saying, sell me at Les Paul. Not going to happen. Appreciate you guys so much. We'll see you next Tuesday. Going to be updating the calendar hopefully in the next day or so. There'll be some Florida dates coming at you. And obviously dates with Gary and Skankbanger and all the things we like to do, clinics and whatnots. Appreciate you, everyone. Be blessed. See you next time.